Okay, human eye and the colorful world. As you know, human eye is a sensitive sense organ which help us to see, the objects clearly. And for vision, we need to have eye, and we have to take care of the eye very seriously because it gives us the sensation of sight. You can see here, human eye is one of the most valuable and sensitive sense organ. The eye uses a refraction of light and enables to see objects around us. Here, we shall study the function of the eye lens in the human eye, and you can see various objects like nearby objects and distant objects as well, not the nearby object or not the distant object only. We can see both nearby object and distant objects simultaneously by focusing on them with the help of our eye lens. And how this process is achieved by our eye lens and which one is responsible for that action, we will study today. Okay, so let us see here, and we'll study about also eye defects and defects of vision and their correction. And using refraction, we'll study the light, human eye, how the human eye helps us to see the object clearly. So hope this is clear. This part is clear to all of you. We'll move to the next part. This is the typical diagram of human eye with its various leveling. It's shown here. You can see the first part. The first part is outermost part is cornea, through which light enters. Outermost part is cornea, through which light enters into the eye, and it is a transparent membrane. And then after entering, it will pass through anterior chamber or aqueous humor, and then after aqueous humor, it will pass through the gap between two iris, that is pupil, and there is iris, and after iris we'll get the lens. Sequentially I am saying, and after lens you will see the lens is holded by the ciliary muscles in both top and bottom part, and then the light ray have to travel through vitreous chamber or vitreous humor, and then finally the light ray after refraction will fall on the retina. And after that retina layer, it is choroid, and in retina there is one gap that is called fovea. And finally all the light signals will be carried forward to the brain with the help of optic nerve from the eye to the brain, because brain, everything will be interpreted in the brain, and with the help of the action of the brain will take the action, further action. So this is various diagram. You have to draw the diagram. I will share it and you will draw the diagram neatly and with the leveling. Then different parts of human eye, we'll explore different parts of human eye. What are the various parts? Just see, I have told cornea. The cornea is the outermost layer through which light enters into the eye. You see, you cannot observe this cornea because it is transparent. Light falling on it is carried forward into the eye lens. It is very transparent, and the pupil color is black, therefore we can observe, and iris have some colored pigment, therefore also we can observe it. So you see here cornea, it is the front portion of the sclera which is bulged outward. Bulged outward means, just like convex surface, and with a transparent spherical membrane. Light can enter into the eye through this cornea. It protects the eye and helps the refraction of light into the eye. So maximum refraction of light occurs at the cornea. So many times this question have been asked, and you don't be confused between pupil and eye lens and the cornea. It is the cornea where all the lights are incident and after that all lights passing into the cornea, it will be gathered near the pupil, and some part of the light will be allowed through the pupil, and then only it will fall on the lens. So hope you clear about this thing, that cornea is the part where the maximum refraction of light occurs. Now, iris and pupil. Next part is iris. Everything you have to write. I will share it and you will write. Don't worry. Just now, try to understand the facts and say me if any difficulty you find, then say. Iris is a dark muscular diaphragm behind the cornea, having a hole at its center called pupil. Muscular diaphragm in the previous slide, just we have seen there. You just see. Where is it? Diaphragm. You see here. This is muscular diaphragm. You see iris. This part. This is extension from ciliary muscle in front of eye, and it have a gap. This gap is called as pupil. Are you getting?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you see here iris or iris. The dark muscular diaphragm behind the cornea, having a hole at its center called pupil, and iris controls the size of pupil. When the light is very bright, that means when you are going to outside in the brightness of the sun, then what will happen? Your eyes will be shrinked, and you cannot see easily to the bright light. This is carried out by the action of iris. When the light is very bright, the iris makes the pupil to contract so that less light enters the eye. In dim light, the iris expands so that the pupil expands the pupil to allow more light to enter into the eye. This is a phenomena. The iris expands and contract. As a result, pupils also expand and contract, and the amount of light entering into our eye can be controlled. This is a short question may be asked. The amount of light entering into the eye is controlled by the size of pupil. Okay. Then third one is lens. The most important, eye lens is crystalline double convex lens made of a transparent and flexible tissue. It is present behind the pupil, held in position by the ciliary muscles. The lens is held stationary at its position by the action of ciliary muscles. Ciliary muscle stretches it from bottom and the top part to be in its correct position. It provides the finer adjustment of focal length required to focus object on the retina. And the lens helps in focusing the image of the object on the retina. I hope this part is clear, or any doubt existing, you can inform. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So we'll move to the next part. Different parts of human eye and ciliary muscles. And another part is ciliary muscle. Ciliary muscle helps in holding the lens, and also helps in to change the shape during accommodation. Accommodation is the ability of the eye lens to see near and far object by changing its focal length. To see nearby object, it reduces its focal length, and to see the farthest object, it increases its focal length. And it is only possible by the action of these ciliary muscles. And we'll study after some time. Then retina. Retina is the delicate membrane having enormous number of light sensitive cells, or photoreceptors, we can say. Photo means light, receptor means that collect the light, photoreceptors. These are rods and cones. The cells get activated upon illumination and generate electrical signal. with light illuminating on the surface. Illuminating means falling and it radiating. And then it generates electrical signals which are sent to the brain for visual recognition. Okay. Can you say the image formed on retina? What is the nature of the image formed on retina? Which type of image is formed on our retina? Can anyone say? As still real image, yes, real image and inverted also, but we are observing the erect. This is due to the action of brain. The optic nerve carry forward this electrical signal and it is again inverted so that we can see the erect image finally. The rods and cones functions may be asked. Rods are responsible for brightness or intensity of light, and cones respond to color of light, means color vision. In distinguishing between various colors, cone is responsible. So let us go through the video link so that you can know about 3D diagram of the eye.
The human eye is the most valuable and sensitive sense organ which uses refraction of light and enables us to visualize the objects and their colors around us. It consists of an eyeball, approximately spherical in shape, of diameter 2.3 centimeter. This is the model of human eye. The walls of human eyeball consists of two major layers. The outermost protective white layer is called as sclera. It consists of dense, fibrous, opaque white substance. The sclera has become transparent and bulged out in front, called as cornea. Cornea gives protection and helps in refraction of light. The second inner layer is called as choroid, which prevents internal reflections in the eyeball and hence protects the photosensitive parts. Behind cornea, there is a colored diaphragm called as iris, which is the extension of choroid. It is having a hole at the center called as pupil, which regulates and controls the amount of light entering into the eye. Behind iris, there is a transparent crystalline biconvex lens held in its position by the help of two sets of ciliary muscles. It produces real inverted images of nearby as well as distant objects on the retina. There is a coating of photosensitive material on the inner wall of the choroid called as retina. This light sensitive screen consists of nearly about 125 millions of photoreceptors called as rods and cones. The space between the cornea and eye lens is filled with a transparent watery substance called as aqueous humor, and the space between eye lens and retina is filled with a rigid substance called as vitreous humor. Both the fluids maintain pressure and gives spherical shape to the eyeball. When light from the nearby as well as distant objects is focused on the retina, the photoreceptors get activated upon illumination and generate electric signals. These electric signals are carried by the optic nerves to the brain. The brain interprets the signals and finally processes the informations, and we are able to see the objects as they are.
Okay, so the part of human eye is clear to all of you and the structures. Then now come to the human eye working part. Okay, so what is the working of human eye? How it works? So let us see. Light rays coming from the object. This is an object. It's shown here. The object you can see. Enter the eye through cornea and fall on the eye lens through pupil. Everything have been discussed to you, the functions. And the eye lens forms a real inverted and diminished image of the object on the retina. The light sensitive cells of retina gets activated upon illumination. When light falls on the retina, they will be activated and generate the electrical signals, and these signals are transmitted to the brain via optic nerves, and the brain interprets and processes this information, and we perceive objects as they were without inversion. This is why I have asked the question, how the image is formed on the retina, as we are observing the image as that the object, because we are not observing inverted, but we are observing erect. Then some may say that the image is real and erect, but no, the image formed is real and inverted, but actually we are observing that is erect because of the interpretation of the optic nerves and the electrical signals being converted again. Okay, so hope it is clearly clear to all of you. Now shall we move to the next part? So we'll move to the next page. Okay, this is very, very important. The power of accommodation. The power of accommodation or accommodation only. You can see. So we are concerned about, one is near vision and another is distant vision. What is near vision? Near vision means which helps us to see the nearby objects, and distant vision means which helps us to see the farthest object. How we can see? This is the action, only the action of ciliary muscles. So it is shown in chart format so that it will be easy to remember you. If ciliary muscles get contracted, then what will happen? Distant ciliary muscles get contracted, then eye lens will become thicker. The next step, eye lens will become thicker. And then what will happen? If eye lens becomes thicker, its focal length decreases and curvature increases so that we can see nearby objects clearly. So this is the action of ciliary muscles, so that eye lens becomes turned to be thicker, and so that focal length will decrease and we can see the near objects clearly. Then for distant vision, you see, for distant vision, the ciliary muscles will be relaxed. For distant vision, the ciliary muscles will be relaxed so that the lens becomes thinner. It becomes thinner means its curvature decreases and focal length increases. Thus, we can see the near and far objects clearly. You see, if the object at farthest point, then it will be refracted and forms image at retina. So ciliary muscles, you see the actions of ciliary muscles. Here ciliary muscles get contracted. It is wrong written. It is relaxed. Farthest object we are seeing, it is relaxed. Make it relaxed. This one is relaxed. Okay. Because the ciliary muscles are thickened. Thickened means they are relaxed. And when they are shortened, in this case, they are thickened at two corners. And in this case, they are stressed. Stress means contracted. Here wrong written. Don't follow it. Okay. Follow it. It is relaxed and it is contracted. So you can see nearby object as explained in the chart. So this is called power of accommodation by the help of ciliary muscle. Okay. So then near point. What do we mean by near point of a human eye? Near point means you know what is near to us, the least distance of distant vision, the minimum distance at which object can be seen clearly or most distinctly without any strain is called least distance of distant vision. If I am able to see the book, I'm able to see the book from this distance, then I can say it is a distance which I can see, and again I can see here also, but closer to this I cannot see. So this is the minimum distance beyond which and then closer to which I cannot see. This distance between my eye and the object is said to be my near point. Okay, and farthest point may be a long distance that is up to infinity. For a normal eye, we can say the nearest point should be 25 centimeter and farthest point should be infinity. So the least distance of distant vision here written value is 25 centimeter from the eye. And the far point, the farthest point up to which the eye lens can see objects clearly is called as far point of the eye. It is infinity for a normal eye. So hope these things are clear to everyone. Yes or no? The diagram, it is explained also here in the right side, you see. Then we'll study about defects of vision, myopia or nearsightedness, hypermetropia or farsightedness, and presbyopia. Let us explore about each one. So we'll study about myopia. Myopia means short-sightedness, or we can see nearby objects clearly, which a person can see nearby objects clearly and but cannot see the distant object clearly. It's called myopia. So what are the causes? Causes may be the decrease in focal length. How the focal length will be reduced? Focal length can be reduced due to excessive curvature of the eye lens and due to the elongation of eyeball. Due to the elongation of eyeball. Elongation of eyeball means excessive curvature, rounding of the eyeball. Okay. In a myopic eye, the image of the distant object is found before the retina, in front of the retina. This is a characteristic you can see here. The image is found in front of the retina. If the object is situated at a large distance than that of far point, then you will see the image will be found in front of retina. So how we can remove this defect? We can remove this defect by using a suitable concave lens of appropriate focal length. Near point of myopic eye 25 centimeter and far point is a finite distance. Far point means the maximum farthest distance up to which he or she can see. That is a finite distance, beyond which he or she cannot see. And correction, this defect can be corrected by using a concave lens of suitable power. You see here, after passing through the concave lens, the light rays are diverging, and after diverging, when they will passes through the lens, they will meet at retina properly. So you can get the image properly. And which formula we'll use here? We'll use U should be minus infinity and V is the far point and F to find. So using the formula 1 by F equal to 1 by V minus 1 by U. As I is a lens, so we'll use lens formula here. And using these values, we'll get F equal to, that means focal length of the eye lens should be minus D. D means the far point. So power we can find 1 by F to find in meter or 100 by D in find in centimeter. Hope this is clear, and we'll move to the hypermetropic eye. Hypermetropia is just opposite. Opposite means we can see far objects clearly and unable to see the nearby objects clearly. So the causes are also just opposite. Eyeball has become too small and focal length of the eye lens is too long. Distant object clearly but cannot see the nearby objects clearly. But within hypermetropic eye, the image of the nearby object is found behind the retina. Okay, behind the retina. So we have to form this image on the retina. That means we have to use a convection lens or converging lens. So near point of hypermetropic eye. Near point means the closest point up to which it can see. Here we can see largest distance, but nearer distance we cannot see. So the closest point, the nearest point is greater than 25 centimeter or equal, and the far point is at infinity. So correction, it can be corrected. Just a minute. We can see, you see here, after refraction, how the lens helps after refraction through the convex lens, then through the eye lens, how the image is formed at the retina properly. And you can use the formula here as given. Of this part is clear to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Now let us move for presbyopia. It is in ODI, it is called a chalisa. Chalisa means reaching the age of 40, unable to read. The defect of the eye where the near point recedes away due to aging and the person finds difficulty to see the nearby objects comfortably is called presbyopia. Causes is the gradual weakening of the ciliary muscles and diminishing flexibility of the eye lens. How we can correct it? This defect can be corrected by using convex lens of appropriate focal length. That means it is extended form of hypermetropia. And the person who suffers from both myopia and hypermetropia uses bifocal length. That is, the lens upper part is concave and lower portion is convex lens, consists of convex lens. That is this much thing we have to know about the eye defects as described in our syllabus and also in our textbook. And the causes of the defects, causes and the remedies, how we can overcome these defects, and the ray diagrams to find the corrected defect and defected vision are so many times asked in the board exam, also in half yearly and other exams. So just practice these things. I'm going to share these things to you and hope everything is clear. I'll stay here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.